Yo, 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 what's going on? What's going on? So I was saying that was 5 minutes of funk by Houdini. I don't know if you guys heard it or not, but I was bringing it back old school because that song, every time I'm about to do information, I'm about to do questions and answers and things like that, I like to, I don't know, that song just comes to mind. It's like it's giving me lessons in all in 5 minutes. So, granted, I'm not going to be here for 5 minutes. It's going to be more like 30 minutes, but the song I felt was appropriate. Anyways, what we're going to be doing right now is going through all the different questions that I have from you guys. So I appreciate you guys reaching out. But before I get into that, first off, let me know if you can hear me okay. Let me know if you can see me okay. As you can see, I am trying a brand new setup. I'm using my Zoom account to actually stream from Zoom to Facebook, YouTube, and wherever else this is going to go to. So I can actually do things like share my screen. And if I need to repost this information later on, I can easily do that. Some of my best stuff didn't get saved for some reason. I'm fighting with Facebook about that, but that's neither here nor there. But again, so let me know if you can hear me, you see me okay. I don't care if you're watching this live, if you're watching a replay. Just want to make sure the audio is okay and things like that. So I'm not just talking to an empty void. Okay, cool. I appreciate that. Thank you. Saying, let me know you can hear me. All right. But welcome, Billy. Welcome. Anyway, so are you looking to start your land investing career, or maybe you're actually looking to restart it, and you're like, well, I want to do this, but number one, I don't have the confidence to do it. Number two, I'm not sure where I should actually start my land investing career, like what places to invest in. But worry not. Worry not. I'm going to let you know where it is. Okay, Salt Lake City's in the house. I feel you over there, Billy. I feel you. Um, so before I begin, I'm going to tell you a quick story. I love this story. It's a personal story that happened to me. I was buying some land. This happened maybe like 3 or 4 years ago. I was buying some land, I believe, in it had to be Nevada. It had to be in Nevada, but this owner actually had some property in California as well. I live in California, Northern California, San Francisco to be exact. And they're like, "Well, I got some land here in California. I'll sell it to you for I don't know, it was $500, something cheap." I'm like, "Sure, I'll take it. I know nothing about California, but I'll do it." And so I bought the property, and I'm like, "All right, cool." I'm looking at it. I'm doing my due diligence. Back at this time, my due diligence process wasn't as thorough as complete as it is now. But I'm looking around, and it looks like, oh, it has an address and with roads and things like that. All right, great. Turns out the roads weren't really roads; they were tiny little trails. Now, I didn't know that until I actually tried to sell the property. And I sold it to somebody who, let's just say, couldn't afford the $2,000 asking price. But at the time, I didn't know how to market. I didn't know how to sell. So I'm like, whatever, I'll do what I can. I know I'll sell it to this guy. He'll pay me as much as he can in payments. And if he stops paying, I'll just sell it to somebody else. Well, to even do the deal, I had to drive 2 hours for him to basically pay me in cash the down payment and to sign the paperwork. He had these beliefs about how the government it was basically that anything signed online wasn't legally binding, which was completely false. But again, when you don't know how to sell anything, you do stupid things by believing lies and falsehoods. I even back then I knew it wasn't true, but I'm like, I just want to make the sale. So I drive the 2 hours. I go up there. I do it. I'm like, all right, well, while I'm here, let me actually check out the property because this person actually lived kind of near the area. And to let you know, I got lost is an understatement. I went up this mountain. The road turned into a tiny trail. I'm like looking around. I'm seeing random animals. I don't know where the hell I am. My GPS is starting to spin and go crazy. I'm like, I'm getting the hell out of here. So, needless to say, I never found the property, and I was worried. I was honestly worried that, like, shit, what happens if this guy doesn't pay? Who am I going to sell this to? I can't even find a damn thing. How's anybody else going to find it? Well, fast forward about a year, the guy Ben stopped paying. I kept trying to string him along, like, come on, man, just give me a little something. Come on, don't leave me hanging. Eventually, I'm like, I'm over it. I'm done. I find out that guess what? All land will sell. So this property I couldn't find, I had no idea where it was on the map. I thought nobody wanted. As soon as I put it up for sale, at this time I knew better marketing techniques and things like that. I sold it within 2 weeks for asking price. The funny thing is, the person that I sold it to actually knew the person I was trying to sell it to before. So it's a small world, but I'm just letting you know, no matter where you invest, this is the point. No matter where you invest, it will sell. Even when I didn't know how to sell and I didn't know how to market, I was still able to sell the property. Now, with that said, I want to give you a little bit of game so you don't have to go through that and have to hold on to property for many, many, many months before somebody buys it, or you got to deal with people who can't necessarily afford the property easily. So that doesn't help you and it doesn't help them. So before I do that, I'll give you some tips. No matter what, my favorite states to buy land and sell land is right now. Texas is number one. I love Texas, East Texas especially. Now I've done deals in California, Nevada, Texas, Alabama, Florida, Arkansas, and New Mexico, Arizona. I think that's it. So about 8 states. And no matter what state I'm in, it's the same rules apply. However, I will let you know this. Certain states are easier to work in than others. They're all pretty easy for the most part, but certain states are easier to work in than others. And what I mean by easy is they either have a good website, like a good county information site. They have a good, they're easy to find out all the information about the property for free. They can easily transfer deeds online and things of that nature. That's not necessarily a state thing. That's more of a county thing. So there's always ways that you can work with any state or any county, but again, some counties are easier to work with others. Terry asks, how many properties do you have in play at once? Um, Let me ask that. Okay, let me answer that real quick before I go on. It depends. What I try to do with my properties is I try to have many in different areas. So if one area is slow, I can focus my efforts on another area. If I have more than one property at the same place, I tend to sell one at a time. And I try to sell the quote unquote more difficult one, which I'm about to change because I'm like, it's why I did that because I don't know. I was just like, I'll just try to sell the one that's hard to sell. If I can figure that out, I can sell the easier one later. But now I'm gonna sell the easier one first, get some money so I can keep moving. So I'm not stuck in an area that not necessarily the area is bad. It's just the property's not as easy to move. Um, so yeah, I get as many as I can. In fact, and later on in this, I'm going to talk about my budgeting. So that will actually go more into how many properties I have in play at once. Anyways, getting back into it, I told you my favorite spot, Texas, Florida, and California, my favorite. Investor friendly spots, counties in Nevada, for especially, I cut my teeth in Nevada. Colorado is really good, a lot of investors. Arizona is real good, and New Mexico is really good. Those are just the four off the top of my head. Now, when you are working any area, all right, I'm gonna give you three things that you need to keep your eye on when you're starting to figure out what's going on. Because I may have gave you my favorite spots, I may have gave you what's hot with investors because of how easy information is. But in reality, you can throw a dart at the dartboard and it's like, okay, it landed in Idaho. Great, I get you. I bet you can find deals in Idaho. You landed in a small state like, I don't know, Maine. I'm sure you can find deals in Maine, right? But what matters is three things. Number one, what is your budget? Now, if you work with me, you already know this spiel, but for those of you that are new, if your budget is, you can either buy small lots. I like small lots because they're quick and easy, but you got to work hard. You don't have to work hard for them, but you need a lot of them to make a significant amount of money. You got the medium-sized lot. So a small lot is usually under an acre. You roughly most of those residential lots that you could put a house on, or at least they were supposed to be put houses on them, but it never did. And they're about a quarter of an acre, less than that, sometimes a third of an acre, maybe a half, depending on the area. But yeah, medium-sized lots, in my opinion, is about from 1 acre to like 3 or 4 acres, maybe 5 acres. Those are medium-sized. You don't necessarily see those in a city or a town too much, just because it's just not a lot of space. And then you have the large acres, the 5 acres, the 10 acres, the 20, the 30, the 50s. The ones that, when you're thinking of land and you want to put like a ranch or a farm on, you're getting a 30 or 40, 50 acre property. Now, depending on what your budget is, will dictate how much you're going to actually, or what you can be going after. Why do I say that? Well, obviously, a smaller lot it's going to be easier to acquire with less money than a larger lot. Not that you can't acquire a large lot with less money, but to do that, you'll actually have to try a lot harder. You got to send out a lot more contacts and communications with people. You got to really, really dig deep to find those who are truly motivated to sell. And even then, depending on the area, you may have to come out of pocket a little bit more because they kind of know what they have. They may be desperate, but they're not stupid. So that's the first thing, your budget. The second thing, what type of property you're going for. So when it goes for your budget and the type of property you're going for, it's hand in hand. You may have a large sum of money that you can spend on property, but you may still like to buy, you know what, I want to buy like a bunch of little small ones so I can, wheel and deal quickly, right? Or you may be like, hey, I don't have enough for a large property, so I'm gonna save up a little bit and really try to do things on the cheap until I find that really motivated seller. So it just depends on that. So if you are looking for a lot of smaller deals, quick deals, things like that, no matter what state you're in, find the counties where you are allowed to have a mobile home on the property. Because when you're looking at these smaller lots, especially for low money, and there's no HOAs, things like that, that's going to be the first question people ask you. Hey, can I put my RV on this? Hey, can I put my camper on this? Hey, can I put a mobile home on this? Can I put a tiny home on this? So if you're doing that, and if you have a lot that's, catered to people who are looking for cheaper lots, but you can't put the mobile home or the tiny home on it, it's going to be harder to move. Again, you'll sell it eventually, but you're not going to have that quick turnaround where you can easily turn 500 bucks into 2,000 or 2,500 or whatever it is. So that's, keep that in mind. Write that down if you need to. Yeah. So, and the third thing, find out if the property you have is useful to a lot of people. So what I mean by useful to a lot of people is that I already mentioned the RV thing, but also is it easy to get to the property, right? If they have to be like me, you have a GPS and go in the mountains and not know what the hell's going on when you're trying to sell it and people are trying to check it out for themselves, it's going to be hard to sell. They're going to get scared. They're going to be like, I don't know, the area's not very good. I don't think I'm interested. Um, you have to do any work to that lot. So like, is it full of trees and bushes? Well, if it is, you're gonna have to, someone's gonna have to get it cleared if they're going to use it for living on it or using it. So that's something to be aware of. Now, I'm not saying avoid those lots because most lots are going to be like that, but you can use that as a bargaining chip to talk the price down and be like, hey man, if I'm gonna buy this lot from you, I don't want to, I got to clear it off these bushes and trees and all that. I can't offer you the same amount. And then again, when you sell, you can be like, hey, this lot has bushes and trees. You'll see for yourself when you go check it out. And then, you can kind of negotiate that way. Um, See if you can live on without headaches. I bought properties in the past where at one point, like maybe the 50s or the 60s or maybe even the 70s, a small lot you can do whatever you wanted to them. But then newer legislation that came in the 90s or maybe in the early 2000s said, no, you can't do that no more. So now these lots exist, but you're not allowed to build homes on them. So what good is a residential lot if you can't build a house on it? Granted, there are other uses you can do, and I figured that out as I was trying to move these hard to move lots. But if you know that up front, it makes it easier to know if you should invest in that lot or not. And if you do invest, like, hey man, I can't put a house on this. I'll buy it for 50 bucks. I'll buy it for 100 bucks. And that way you can sell it for 1,000 or 800. Somebody will buy at that price, and then you'll still make good money. Take one turn 100 to 800 bucks on like a pretty easy deal. And even if you don't make any money on it, like you're out of 100 bucks. That shit at 100 bucks, just you'll be able to double your money at least. At least you'll be able to at least sell it for 200, but whatever. Um, Find out if there's an HOA, right? Again, you want to know your investment. If you're looking for a small lot and you want people to be able to put a mobile home or something, most HOAs don't allow that. So either avoid HOAs early on or know that a small lot with an HOA probably comes with like nice amenities and it's a nicer area. So understand what that is. So when I say, is it useful to people, understand like, is it easy to get to? Can you do what you want with it? If there's an HOA, what does that give you? Um, what type of area it is, all that. So the three things, again, if you want to make a good investment, what is your budget? So how much are you looking to spend to do this investment? What type of property you're going for, small, medium, or large, and is that property useful to a wide range of people? If only a few people can find value in it, it's going to be tougher to move. If a lot of people can find value in it, then it's going to move very quickly. You're going to sell it very quickly. All right. Does that make sense? Let me know in the comments right now if that makes sense to you. I know it's a little bit all over the place. Hopefully, you guys got some value out of that. Let me answer the next question. If you have potential buyers looking for something specific in an area on your list, do you try to find specific types that will suit them? Well, that depends. I've actually, I don't necessarily work with them anymore, but when I was in a certain area, I found a buyer on Facebook of all places, which is rare. And usually Facebook buyers aren't necessarily the best not the best leads, but this person was actually a developer. He just happened to be on Facebook and happened to see me a lot because I happen to be advertising a lot in the area he likes. And so he was like, hey man, if you can get me more in the same area, I'll buy them pretty much sight unseen. So after he bought one for me, I actually know he bought at least twice. I'm like, forget it, I'll do it. Okay, let's roll. So I ended up buying like 8 or 9 properties in that area, and he just bought them all. He just bought them all. After a while, I was like, hey, you like this one? He'd be like, no, I don't like that one. Don't go for that one. Hey, I want these two. If you can find out the owners and get them to sell to you, I will buy them on the spot. Blah blah blah. So that worked out really well, actually. So I do it sometimes, but the person again has to actually have spent money with me, and I like doing business with them. Now, if there, a lot of people will say this, hey man, do you have lots or you have anything in this area? And I've in the past, I actually went from one county in Nevada to another one in Nevada. And as soon as I actually bought a lot, number one, because I was looking at what they were trying to do, I was like, all right, great. This looks like I'm gonna get a sale. Let me just get anything and it'll satisfy their requirements. I'll be good. Well, I overpaid for the lot, first off. And then number two, when I was like, hey, I got a lot that you asked for, person was nowhere to be found. So if the person's never bought from me, I don't trust them. They say a lot of things. Sure, I might know, like, okay, they're looking at this area. Let me go ahead and do a little research and see if that is an area I would work in anyway. But I don't go off the advice of people who've never spent money with me. Again, they have to have bought from me before, and I know they'll buy again. And I have to like doing business with them. So it was an easy transaction. It was fast. They weren't asking me a million questions or doing weird things to keep me up at night, things like that. The only way I would actually go to an area that a prospect or somebody's asking for. Cool, cool, cool. All right, moving on. Next, what I want to talk about is D types. Now, this is a whole thing on in of itself. And in my training, I actually go into depth on the different D types and how to do the transfers because for the most part, a deed just is like the written document that says, hey, um, this person owns this property and that's it, and that's all a deed really is. It's just basically like a proof of ownership. So there's different ways that deeds come about. Like the most common you will see are warranty deeds, especially if they were sold by like a developer back in the 50s or whatever, and they were never developed. You'll see a lot of warranty deeds. And what a warranty deed just means is like, look, nobody else has claim to this title. I will defend this claim. I sold it to John Smith, me, Victor Reynolds, sold it to John Smith, and I will fight in court to say that, hey, John Smith is the owner of this property, and nobody from behind that had it before me can claim any type of legal ownership to this property, right? That's a warranty deed. So personally, I like to sell on warranty deeds because it's my business, it's my reputation. I don't want people worrying about stuff. Now, it's true. A lot of people don't understand what any of the deed types are. You can get away with any deed if you really want to, but my conscience says, no, man, I can do a warranty deed. And for those who do understand that, a lot of people, more people understand it than you may realize. It's a nice assurance for them because people are always worried about getting a cloudy title, especially if they're buying from owner and you're not doing title insurance. Um, and if you're not going to do title insurance, you got to at least put your money where your mouth is. And that's why I do warranty deeds. But that's also why I think title insurance is a scam. There's the special warranty deed. You don't see those as often, but you'll see a lot of land investors selling property on a special warranty deed. So a special warranty deed just means, look, while I've owned the property, nobody else can take claim of the property, meaning there's no liens or anything else on that like that. What happened to the property before I had it, I don't know. I can't guarantee anything, but while I've had it, it's been good. The next type you'll see often is the quitclaim deed. That's basically saying, hey, I don't want this property anymore. I'm giving it to somebody else. And whatever issues or whatever that is associated with this property, this person is going to have to take care of. And you have the tax deed. So like in Alabama, there you buy deeds and, or excuse me, if a deed, excuse me, why keep on a deed? If a property is sold at a tax auction, meaning the previous owner didn't pay their taxes and they have not actually, that they have not paid those taxes, they have not, come and reclaim the property by paying for it, the county will sell that at auction to anybody that was interested, hoping to recoup that tax amount. But the county itself does not actually check to see if there's any liens or anything else like that on the property. They just sell the property. It's like, you can't have it anymore. You don't pay us. So a tax deed would say, hey, you are now the owner, but we're not saying that there's nobody else who has claims on this property, which means we don't know if there's a lien on it or not. We don't know if there's a weird cloudy issue before this or not. We're just taking away from this person and selling to you. Um, and if there's not a quiet title suit that is done saying, somebody saying, look, I've looked into this, there's no deed, there's no weirdness with this property, there's no weirdness with the title. If you're looking to get a loan from a bank or something like that, where you need like some weird professionals to help you, they get leery about that. But for most people, they don't really give a shit. So you'll see the title tax deeds. And final, like one you'll see often, deed of trust. What's a deed of trust? Well, basically, it's kind of like a mortgage. Depending on where you are, what state you're in, like Texas, they use deed of trust, and it's saying, hey, look, this person owns a property, but they're buying it from like this company or this other person, and so the two both have interest in the property, and until the property is totally paid off, both parties, the buyer and the mortgage company or whatever, they both have interest or they both own the property. Once the person pays off the property, that mortgage company or that buyer or that seller or whoever, they'll have to record now a deed of reconveyance or a release of lien. They both mean the same thing, basically saying, okay, this person paid off their debt. I have no more claim to this property. Let the record show that. So those are the common deed types. Now, depending on who is the owner and how things are worded would dictate how you do the transfer. But for the most part, it's all the same. Now, you have a husband and wife versus a single owner versus a trust, as in like the properties in the trust versus a LLC or a corporation that owns it versus all these other things. There are different ways and you'll have to do. You also have like executor's deeds, which is not very common, but it's basically saying somebody passed away, the executor of the estate was able to sell that property to somebody else. They use an executor's deed. But the point is, depending on how the deed was created, doesn't matter the type, will tell you how you can do the transfer. Now, if you want to know more about that, I don't have the time to go into that now. And it's kind of, well, it's not complex. It's just specific on your situation that you're dealing with. I can't go into that now, but I do go into that in depth with my different with my training and all that. So if you're interested to know more about that, hit me up. I'll definitely let you know the details of how it was, how I can relay the information to you and all that. Finally, finally, the last piece. What How do I handle my money? All right. So before I get into that, let me know whether you're watching it live, whether you're watching it the replay, if the information I presented so far is good, or if you have any other questions. I'm asking that because I want to keep giving you guys everything I got, but I need to know what you guys are looking for, what information that will help you actually take action. Now, I understand how tough it can be trying something new, not having a personal relationship with me, and like, well, I want to trust them, but I'm a little nervous, and I heard other people talk about this, and I'm not sure if I should do it or what, or it sounds good in theory, and I kind of want to do it, but I'm still, I don't know. Hit me up, give me a call. You can jump on the phone. I can let you know. First off, I can diagnose and see what's really going on to help you move forward. Second, if working with me is actually the best thing to do, I will let you know that. If it's not, I'm not, man, you're good. You're on the right path, keep doing your thing or whatever. But I want this information to be useful for you. I want this information to help you improve your financial lives. That's why I put this out for free. That's why I do this group. Um, but yeah, just let me know if it's useful or not. Again, whether you're watching this live or you're watching the replay. Anyways, last question. How do I do my books? Well, this is a good question, and this is usually a question a more advanced land investor does, because in the beginning it doesn't really matter. You're just kind of going out there, you're buying some property, you're selling it, right? A property or two, a sale or two, your accountant when you're doing your taxes, or even like if you're doing your own taxes, it's pretty simple. It's not that big a deal. You're not going to be sending a ton of money. But if you're doing this for a living, things get a little bit different. And so I've actually had trouble in the beginning finding like a professional to help me with this. I remember one tax accountant we had. They're like, "Yeah, I don't know what to do." And they basically didn't want to do it. And they were playing very conservative. And personally, I'm not a conservative like tax person. I'm pretty aggressive. Um, so the fact that we didn't see eye to eye on our tax strategy didn't help. But the fact that he had no clue how to do land was tough. Now, there's no fault to him because this isn't like an industry that is giant like trying to find a house to rent or whatever, like doing rental investing or house investing with rental properties and things like that. So there's a lot less information out there. But I did find a guy. Um, he actually treats my business as a car dealership because I have inventory coming in and out. And as a car dealership, those cars on the lots, those dealerships, they buy those cars and then they sell them on to you, right? The manufacturer like Ford and Honda and all that, they have MSRP, manufacturer's suggested retail price. But since the dealership owns it, they have a special contract with the manufacturer, but they can sell it for any price they want. That's why you can have sales, that's why you have markups, all those things. So he kind of treats my business that way. So first off, he files my taxes as an S corp. So that means I have to pay myself, and I've been doing that. And you can set that up on a regular interval, or you can just kind of just pay yourself whenever. I've done both. Um, and then here's the system I use. So I track all my costs. So my mailing costs, my any tools I have like PropStream or Click to Mail. I track the purchase prices of property. So what I'll do when I'm tracking all these things, I will like scan a copy of the check stub for when I'm buying property. When I'm doing the other things, I make sure that our accounting software picks it up. So we use Zero. Some people like to use QuickBooks, but we use Zero. It's pretty simple, and I don't really touch it too much. I have my own copy of all these numbers I'm going over. So I keep track of that. My mailing costs of the receipts. I keep track of the tracking numbers as well when I'm mailing things out, just so I know things are getting to where they need to go. I track all my advertising expenses. So when I'm doing neighbor letters, that costs money. So I got to make sure I say that. If I do like a Facebook ads campaign or a boost a post or something, I keep track of that. If I, there's a lot of ways that you can pay for different advertising techniques, and whatever I do, if I do end up spending money to advertise, I make sure I keep track of it. Um, I keep track of any back taxes and fees I have to pay to acquire the property, and any different recording fees, when I'm buying it and when I'm selling it. Um, and any miscellaneous expenses like getting a survey done, which is rare, and I might have to get one done for a property in Florida. But when I say I keep track of it. I have all the receipts in a folder that is associated with that property on my computer. So I have things classified by state, county, and then individual parcels. And then within those individual parcel folders, I have the documents, I have the receipts, I have the images of the property, and any ad copy that I have that I can use on different sites. Now, what do I do for budgeting? Well, I kind of use a profit first system. And if you haven't read the book Profit First, it's a really good Michael Howsky, Houskowitz. I'm butchering that. I'll put a link later. But um, I have different buckets that I have, right? And basically, the premise of this is that you pay yourself first. You have a couple different bank accounts because if you have everything in one bank account, the author basically his premise is that as humans, we will use that money for things that it's not necessarily earmarked for. It's human nature. However, if we only see a small amount of money, even though we know we have money in other places designated for other things, if we only have a small amount of money at like we have access to like easily, we won't overspend. And if we're still running out of money for like business expenses and all that, then that's a clear sign that look, man, you had this budgeted and you're going over. You need to cut expenses or you need to fix something. So um, what I have is I have different accounts. I have a business account. I have my personal account. I got an account for taxes that I set aside some money for taxes. I haven't done as much lately as that. Because when you file an S corp and all that, you get rid of the self-employed taxes, if I'm not mistaken. And let's see, what else? And I got some investment accounts. So here's how I bookmark my money. I got acquisition money, and that acquisition money is for buying the property, doing the mailing to find a property, any taxes and fees associated with that property, and maybe ads and paid traffic if I need to go there. But that's all acquisition money. Then I have money uh, split up by different, or how do I put this? I have money for other things like my regular bills, right? Mortgage and electricity and water and all those other things. I got money for, I got a savings account and I got investment accounts. So I have things earmarked for that. Now, when it comes to the business money, I have what I'm starting to call a war chest. So let's say I have $5,000 just for the sake of argument, right? Well, in the past, I used to use all $5,000 just to like, oh, I need to buy some land, get land, give me. And that got me into trouble because there'll be times like, oh, like the big deal came out, great, I got 5 grand I can throw at it, and then another deal comes, and I ain't got no money, or bills come and the deal haven't completely recouped itself yet, and I can't pay the bill, right? Because I just the timing just wasn't right. So now I'm building up a war chest. So let's say instead of having 5,000 and that's it, 5,000 will be the war chest, but then I still have another 3 to 5 thousand for other things, for the bills and paying down credit cards and things like that. So 5,000 is for the things I talked about with the acquisition money, and the other accounts I mentioned that will come out of that other smaller buffer, the 3 to 5 thousand, and that way I never go past that 5,000. So I budget it that way. And if I have no more, then I can't, do anything. I got to figure either, hey, build the war chest up so I have more to play with, and I, keep that buffer, that 3,000, whatever I need for bills, or I need to slow down. And me, I ain't trying to slow down. I'm trying to speed up and be more efficient and be more cost effective. So that's what I got for my budgeting. Hopefully that actually answers that question. Hopefully, if you have any more questions on how I do my budgeting and how I do I do money, let me know. Because I'm actually out of time, so I have to kind of speed up through it. But this stuff is great and it's all important because it's very easy to get caught up in this business and then not look at your numbers and realize you over leverage yourself. Ask me how I know. Let's see. Do you pay sales tax to the county and state? You sell the property on top of the income? No, you only have to do you only do state, your own state taxes and federal taxes. I'm not paying any sales tax or anything like that anywhere else. Um, and if I am, my accountant handles that, but I don't think that's the case at all. So yeah, it could be a state by state thing. I should ask. I should find out. But yeah, I'm not paying any sales tax in any other places except for California where I live. Cool. Well, first off, I appreciate you guys coming out, listening to me live. Hopefully this new setup works well for you guys. In the future, I'm going to be able to share my screen and I can show you things on the computer if necessary. I didn't think it was necessary today. But if you found value in this, go ahead and start sharing that with people. Now, listen, I understand that everybody wants to, find their lane in land investing. I think that's great. However, it's not something that you can kind of just dabble with. It's not something you can just kind of listen to me for 30 minutes and kind of sit in the back of your mind with and not you got to take action. Imperfect action is better than no action, but good action is better than imperfect action. And by taking good action, that's mean learning from those who have done it before. They don't got to be world class. They just got to be a step ahead of you. So even if you're not getting your information from me, you're getting from somebody who has success in land investing, please do that, right? And then don't be a jerk. Spread that information. Spread the wealth. Now, you don't have to spend in all your time educating everybody in land investing if you do know this stuff. Especially if you still feel you don't know as much, but you know something. You heard me talk long enough. You know enough to at least repeat what I've told you. So share the wealth. Now, here's the thing. If you're ready to get more serious, though, and you want somebody to come in and help you out do this so you don't make avoidable mistakes, well, guess what? It's time to pull back the doors, bust open the books, and make a call for help to bar rescue. No, not bar rescue. To me, this is what I'm here for. I'm here to help you guys out. It takes a lot of my time and energy to help, but I'm glad to do it. Um, and as I help you guys, I know it's to help my own business because I figure out ways to do things, or I hear different perspectives, or as I try to explain something I do, I'm not really like, damn, why do I do that? That's kind of dumb. Or, you know what? I'm not really getting to the point of what I really do. So now that I'm explaining it, I should really change my approach and do something a little bit better. But the point is, I want you guys to understand that I'm here for you guys. And if you really want to know how to do this thing, hit me up in the comments below. I'll leave a link. Um, or you can just write in the comments, pay dirt. That's my favorite phrase. And I'll hit you up individually and I can let you know what it's like to work with me. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. Let me know about the wins in your group. Because every time I see you guys succeed, I feel good, right? I know it's a little selfish, feel good because y'all doing well, but That's what I'm about, man. I want you guys to let me know when you guys are succeeding. Not only does it make me feel good, but it helps others understand, hey, this is possible. I can do it. If they can do it, I can do it. And that's exactly what I want, right? But until then, it's your boy Coach Vic signing out. 5 minutes of funk.